it's a full moon out. And you know what that makes me think of? The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Now, The Legend of Zelda became an instant classic when it first released on the NES in 1986. It eventually transitioned to the SNES in 1991, and The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, my favorite Zelda game. Now, don't get me wrong, choosing my favorite Zelda game is like choosing my favorite amongst a barrel of puppies. I want that one. But it wasn't until 1998 that this franchise would take the big leap into the realm of 3D with The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This game was a critically acclaimed masterpiece, earning 10s across the board from most review outlets, and the prestigious 40 out of 40 from Famitsu magazine, the first time this had ever happened since the magazine's inception in 1986. Ocarina of Time redefined what games could do in the 3D space. This game made you feel like you were on an epic adventure to save Hyrule. The fields were large and sprawling. The graphics, those graphics, were, you know, good for the time. Nay, incredible for the time. And when you first rode Epona, those feels. So when Majora's Mask came to the N64, opinions were mixed. The question remained, did Majora's Mask hold up to the mastery that was Ocarina of Time? Could it even hold a candle? Well, let's find out. Majora's Mask takes place after the events of Ocarina of Time, as Link is riding into Cremia to check on his friend, the Skull Kid. This guy. On your way, you run into him as he's wearing a strange mask, which turns out to be Majora's Mask. It turns out this mask essentially turns you into an evil dick, as Skull Kid, for no reason, proceeds to steal your ocarina and then Epona. But Epona! I love you! I thought we were best friends! You chase after the Skull Kid and proceed to trip on acid. What the fuck is this place? The Skull Kid gets pissed at you for following him and retaliates by turning you into a Deku scrub. So before the game even starts, you're already screwed. Oh, and did I mention this game is known for being really dark? Because you're Link, you're the hero of time, and you never learned your lesson. You continue to chase the Skull Kid to find this tree, which resembles you, and is highly implied to be someone the Skull Kid killed. Happy thoughts, think happy. Shit's scary, so you drop more acid, and as you're about to finally leave this godforsaken place, that creepy mask salesman from Ocarina of Time appears out of nowhere. The mask salesman explains that if you can get both your ocarina and his mask back, the evil Majora's Mask the Skull Kid was wearing, he'll return you back to normal as non-Deku Scrub Link. And with the darkest introduction to a Zelda game yet, you're introduced to Clock Town. This town is sprawling with people who move about in real time. And oh, by the way, this town also happens to be right underneath a giant moon that's about to crash into it and kill everybody. Oh, and you have 3 days to somehow fix the problem with the moon crashing in to kill everyone. The clock is ticking. Good luck. Your first task is to find the Skull Kid who has your ocarina and get it back so you can become normal Link again. On the way, you'll discover the Skull Kid has been wreaking havoc in town. His first bit of mischief was blasting the Great Fairy into tiny fairies, so you're tasked with reconstructing her. Nope, never mind. I do not want to. The world can go to hell for all I care. And that wraps up this super show. Ugh. Eventually, you find out the Skull Kid is hiding up on top of the town's main attraction, its clock tower, beckoning the moon to come and kill everyone. So, you meet him at the top to confront him, but can't do anything in your sexy Deku Scrub body. But with 6 hours to spare, you finally get your ocarina back and remember the Song of Time. In a desperate attempt to do anything that will work, you bust out your ocarina. What? You've been carrying that the whole time? Because I thought I was the only one. I feel so much closer to Link now! As you desperately play the Song of Time, you're suddenly warped back to the first day at Clock Town. It turns out, by using your ocarina, you can travel back in time to the first day. It's like the movie Groundhog Day, but as a game. You triumphantly return to the kind mask salesman to show him you've retrieved your ocarina, and with that, he teaches you the Song of Healing, which is in no way whatsoever creepy. This song turns your curse into a mask, which you can now wear at any time to become the Deku Scrub again. Because after all of that, I really want to be a Deku Scrub again. And what do you know? It turns out the mask salesman actually isn't that bad of a guy. He's actually pretty cool. Nope! No! I was wrong! No! Fuck it! I'm done! Can I also just point out that he has a mask of Mario? If the Deku Scrub mask was formerly the soul of a Deku Scrub, did he kill Mario? Creepiness aside, one of Majora's Mask's greatest features was its town. Because you repeat the same 3-day cycle, everyone's schedule starts to really matter, and you find yourself getting involved with their problems and their lives as they're all panicking about the looming danger above. This all factored into yet another thing that made Zelda Majora's Mask truly unique and stand out on its own, that being the collection of masks. Throughout the game, you're tasked with finding and collecting a large variety of interesting and different masks that will either help you progress or aid you in various side quests. By helping the various people around town, oftentimes you're rewarded with a new mask, which was incredibly satisfying. Take this old lady for example. As she's transporting her goods to her bomb shop, Sakone, the village thief, will come out to rob her. If you happen to be there during the correct time, you can stop him and make her day. As a reward, she'll give you this awesome mask. Oh boy! What does this one do? What?! Oh, and by the way, if you don't help out the old lady, Sakone will proceed to rob her by running directly past the village guard. That's okay, buddy. I know he was really hard to spot there. The most complex mask mission involves frequent trips to the Clocktown Inn and its receptionist Anju. The Clocktown Inn being home to creepy decorations, a bug-infested kitchen, and this guy, who just wants some toilet paper. The mission itself requires you to be a detective and utilize all 3 days to find Anju's missing and possibly dead lover Cafe. By talking to Anju at the right time, she'll reveal she's received a letter from the missing Cafe and will send you on a quest to deliver a very important letter of her own to Cafe. All you need to do is drop the letter in a mailbox. But now that we have paper, I choose toilet paper! Yay! If you do follow through on Anju's quest, you eventually meet Cafe and discover they're supposed to get married, but his sun mask has been stolen by that dick thief Sakone. Maybe if somebody would do their job. Regardless, by helping Cafe retrieve his stolen mask, you get to witness the tender reunion and marriage of two lovers as the world comes to an end. And in turn for your help, you receive the Happy Mask, which is filled with their love. Filled with their love. How nice. Your first task in the main quest is to head into the Deku Swamp, where you meet Tingle. Oh, Tingle. If you've ever wondered where this creepy man-child in tights comes from, of course it's Majora's Mask. Did you even have to question it? After Tingle sightings, you waltz into the Deku Palace only to discover the Deku Princess has been stolen away into a temple and the Deku King is wrongfully holding a monkey hostage. Because that's called justice, my friends! Oh, and by the way, every time you visit a new location, Majora's Mask will kindly remind you of your impending doom by starting with a shot of the moon looming overhead. Oh, it's like a metaphor for my own inevitable death. And finally, hours into the game, you reach the first dungeon. Majora's Mask takes steps to correct a huge flaw in other 3D Zelda games, that being treasure rewards. In other Zelda games, all those treasure chests amount to is more rupees. Might as well be rewarded with a fart. In Majora's Mask, when you go back in time, you lose all of your rupees. And guess what? I don't care! High five! Remember that freaky-ass fairy we found in Clocktown? Yeah, I tried to forget about her too. Well, it turns out outside of every dungeon is one of these fairy fountains where you need to collect 15 smaller fairies. These fairies can be found throughout the dungeon in hidden nooks and crannies, and more importantly, in, you guessed it, treasure chests. This made finding treasure actually rewarding. By collecting all the fairies and returning them to the fairy fountain, the hideous Great Fairy will grant you new powers such as increased MP or health. See that? I want that! At the end of the dungeon, you face off against the first masked boss, Adalwa. Adalwa, not Adwala. And upon defeating him, steal his face. Yes, I know he's a masked boss, but it looks like his face. For defeating the first boss, you meet the 4 giants. It turns out they're imprisoned by these masked bosses, and by defeating them, you can set the giants free. In doing so, they'll help you stop the moon. So, with quest in hand, you come across the Deku princess and return her to her father by stuffing her into a bottle. Sounds normal to me. After returning the Great Swamp back to normal, it's time to venture forth into Snowhead, a mountain containing Gorons that is freezing over, which could cause the end of the Gorons living there. Your first task here is to steal someone else's soul, and this time it's in the form of Darmani, the great Goron hero. On his way to solve the freezing problem, a mysterious wind pushed him off of a cliff to his death, and his ghost haunts the mountain. After discovering Darmani, he begs you, bring me back to life with your magic. I mean, if you're sure about that, okay. By using the creepy masked salesman song, you seal the soul of Darmani into a mask, allowing you to transform into the once great hero. It never gets old. By posing as Darmani, you gain the trust of the Goron Elder who— Whoa! I don't know if you know this, but your lip— The Goron Elder teaches you the song to calm the winds and access Snowhead Temple, which it turns out are being caused by an invisible big Goron. Meaning, what killed the great Darmani and blew him off of Snowhead and is blocking the way is a giant asshole Goron. So you put him to sleep and cause him to fall off of a cliff. With the giant out of the way, you can access Snowhead Temple. After working your way through and fighting off Goat, you bring some much needed warmth into Snowhead, melting the snow and bringing about spring. You also obtain Goat's face/mask and save a second giant. Now that the day is saved, you talk to the Elder. Gah! You skip talking to the Elder and are able to access the blacksmith, Shia LaBeouf. Seriously, the resemblance is uncanny. In order to forge the best sword in the game, the Gilded Sword. Your next location is the Poisoned Great Bay, which is blocked off, the only way to access it being to get Epona back so you can leap over the fence. To do this, you head into Romani Ranch, where you find Romani preparing for an incoming alien invasion, along with Epona. So you take Epona back, and Romani enlists your help to fight off the aliens, which she explains is happening tonight. Just like the Smashing Pumpkins song, which also just happens to feature an angry moon. Coincidence? Yeah, probably. Finally, you head into the Great Bay where you meet Mikau, the guitarist of the Zora band, the Indigogos. Mikau is dying from the poison in the ocean, and with his final words, he pleads for your help the only way he knows how, by melting faces with his rock. Oh! He's a champion. He begs us to heal his soul. So, you know what that means. Steal his face! You turn him into a mask so you can wear him and watch the depressing scene of his life fading away. And then dig him a grave. Family fun with Nintendo. As Mikau, you're tasked with collecting baby Zora eggs, who upon hatching, teach you the song to access the Great Bay Palace, where you confront the masked boss Georg, who— Fuck this boss! I don't even have any jokes for him. I'm out. I hate this guy. With Georg's defeat, and his face in the palm of your hands, another giant is saved. So, now that 3 giants are saved, it's time to rescue the final one, by heading into Ikana Valley. Here you'll quickly discover that Epona is an explosion-proof horse! In Ikana Valley, the land of the dead, you find the hidden Garo thieves who strongly resemble Jawas, and a random house playing creepy carnival music. Here we find a daughter who's trying to take care of her father, a researcher who's tragically turned into a Gibdo mummy. Only by playing the Song of Healing are you able to cure the father and reunite the two, where you witness a touching father-daughter bonding moment. A fine example of Majora's Mask effortlessly invoking heartfelt emotions by— Ah! A mask! Using the Gibdo mask, you can travel underground and undetected past multiple creepy Gibdos to reach the ancient Ikana Castle, and finally acquire the staple Legend of Zelda item, the Mirror Shield. Which, by the way, even the Mirror Shield is scared shitless to be in this game! So we have a moon coming to destroy the world, 3 dead mummies clinging onto us and eating us alive, and literally put people's souls into masks so we can wear them. This game couldn't get any creepier, right? Right? Wrong. For finishing Ikana Castle, you're rewarded with a new song, the Elegy of Emptiness, which creates this monstrosity. Fuck it! Finally, with this on hand, you can reach Stone Tower, the final dungeon. Here you fight the giant masked insect Twin Mold to finally save and unleash the giants, who it turns out look surprisingly like the Saturn men of Earthbound. They leave you with the sage wisdom to forgive your friend. Because, you know, who cares that he's about to throw the moon into the earth and has killed countless innocents whose faces we've now sucked off? Because I don't. It's a game. With the 4 giants freed, it's time to meet the Skull Kid again. With time a-ticking, you triumphantly waltz up to him and blare your ocarina with the Oath to Order. Now that was a close call. With the days saved, you, what's going on here? Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. The mask is flying off on its own up to the moon, so it's time to meet Majora's Mask head-on and battle it. On the moon? On the moon, you meet a variety of kids who greedily ask for your masks as Majora's Mask is left sulking by a tree. If you've collected every mask in the game, you can then unlock the Fierce Deity's Mask, the ultimate badass mask which allows you to transform into this insanely cool Link. Sadly, he was never used in another Zelda game, but I'll always remember you, Fierce Deity. With the ultimate mask in hand, it's time to face off against Majora's Mask. This boss fight is set into multiple stages, the first of these requiring you to simply fend off against the mask itself. Upon completing this stage, Majora's incarnation appears, which... What even? What? So you defeat this thing, and Majora's Wrath, the final form, appears. Oh my god! With the final blow, you cast away Majora's Mask and save the day. The evil is driven out of the mask itself, and the mask salesman happily takes it back. Meanwhile, Clocktown enjoys its festivities, and you forgive the Skull Kid for what he did under the spell of Majora's Mask. And everyone lives happily ever after. Except for Darmani, Mikau, and the Deku Butler's son, who are all still dead. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask consistently proves itself to be the darkest and creepiest Zelda game by far. But I actually really love this. Between the darker atmosphere, bustling Clocktown, and collecting interesting masks, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is, to this day, the 3D Zelda game I replay the most, and quite possibly my favorite one. It's...